Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. It's week 6, season 3, 2024. We are back in the Formula Vee, this time at VIR North. And the thing I will say is the track is ridiculously hot. It's melt your tyres warm, and as such, it's quite difficult to slow it down and turn the car. So, it's a little bit slower than it was this time last season. I'm about 7/10 down on where I was. So if you are looking for the super fast lap and all you care about is the lowest time that you can possibly see, then if you just click the link at the top right now, you'll be able to go onto my previous guide. However, this is what the conditions are going to be like for this week, so please do try and enjoy. What we do is slight change up now. I'm going to start off with a full speed hot lap, and then I'm going to do a breakdown lap from the cockpit. Then it's going to go full speed in chase cam, and then for those people that are absolutely determined to have the driving line, I'm going to have the driving line on right at the end. So everybody is catered for, and you're a big pain in the backside. Anyway, enough of that. Let's start the lap. So as always, usual thing, I started this test session from the V schedule, so we have got the same track conditions, hopefully, that we will be experiencing this week, and it is a hot one on the track. So I'm going to start off with the flying hot lap, breakdown lap to come after this, followed by chase cam and then driving line. So we're looking halfway between the 1 and the turn marker, up to about 80%, trailing it off all the way down to the apex and then back on the gas. Now we're taking a nice wide entry through turn 2 here, and then we're looking for a darker patch. Really is understeery on these hot conditions. We're flat through here. Now we're looking for that marshal's post. And just before the railings for it, a couple of car lengths is the braking marker, right on the elbow. And again, trail brake it through. You're really going to exit wide with the understeer. Changing up once you get on the flat bit. Final big bit of braking. Just looking for a lift here, cutting the corner. And flat out to the line in the straightest line possible. And over and across the line in a 1 minute 42.294. Now I think last season I did a 41.5. I drove my absolute rocks off for that lap, and it is a bit slower. So anyway, now we'll break down the lap, and I'll show you my braking markers in more detail. Okay, so here we are for the breakdown lap. And what we're looking for is the braking marker is going to be halfway between the 1 marker and the arrow turning right. So as we get there, we're going to brake hard in a straight line. I'm not going too hard and up to 100% now because the track is so slippy. So up to 80%, there or thereabouts. Again, I've got 4 clicks rearward bias, as I always do, unless I let you guys know. Normal thing, trail it off all the way down to the apex. And we're actually doing a late apex here. So I drop it into 3rd and back on 100% throttle. Try and keep it over to the right hand side as best as possible. Now turn 2, don't be fooled and go down the inside. Don't try and cut this corner, although it's viable if you're looking to overtake in the race. But in terms of the fastest line for quali, you want to be nice and wide here. And what we're looking for is this darker patch up ahead. And once we get onto the darker patch, we're going to do a big lift. We're going to gradually come off down to about 20%, and then we're going to start building back up. So that once we get to the apex, normally I'd be on 100% throttle here, but again, because of the understeer, I'm having to just hold it that extra second before I go back up to 100% once I'm sort of halfway across the track. made me exit super wide, even though I more or less nailed that corner. And what we're looking for, again, this time, it's a lighter patch of tarmac. That's going to be our braking marker here for turn 4. So once we get into it, I'm going to brake sharply up to about 70%, very briefly, very, very quick trail brake, so that I can start coming back on the throttle as I'm looking for the apex, so that once I get there, I'm on 100% throttle before I even clip the curb, holding it, clipping this curb, still absolute flat, clipping this curve again, and then the next one, always making use of the full width of the track, up to 4th gear in that little dip. Now this is probably the hardest corner in terms of braking markers. So if you see up ahead, we've got the marshal's post and we've got the railing before that. Now just before, when you look at the white line, you see an elbow coming out. That's my braking marker. So it's where the elbow is there. That's going to be my braking marker. So as I get there, I'm going to brake up again to about 70%, trailing it off. Now the key to this corner is getting on the throttle nice and early to combat the hill, which is going to slow us down. So as you can see, I'm still in 4th. I'm now building back on the throttle. And as I get up to 100%, I'm dropping it down into 3rd gear. So basically, as you're coming off the brakes and you're thumping back onto the throttle, that's when I drop it down. Because of the pace I'm carrying, it makes me exit super wide, but that's fine. Trying to keep this as straight as possible, cutting the corners. Now you'll be tempted from the engine sound to change up now, but don't do that, because if you see, we're still going uphill and we've got a little flat bit up ahead. As soon as I get to the flat bit, that's when I'm going to change up to 4th. You can ignore that corner on the right just there, but what we're wanting to do is cut this corner here. Get right over to the left-hand side to ease the little dipper section here, turns 14A. And our braking marker is going to be about a car width, length or two just before the white line. So we're going to get right over to the rumble strip, start braking as we get there. And again, it's a quick trail brake up to 70% and then immediately start dropping it off. And you've got to be trailing it off here to get maximum speed. Otherwise, you're going to run out of grip. And once we get down to coming off the brake, again, big blip on the throttle and back up to 100% as you drop it down to 3rd. Cut this corner, do be careful, sometimes it's a little bit slippy on here. Exit nice and wide, change up to 4th gear, and now what we're looking to do, it's just going to be a lift, there's going to be no braking, but we really want to get our left-hand tyres as close to the grass as possible here, may even be touching them. And then as we come away from the rumble strip, we're going to do a big lift, almost down to nothing, but then slowly building it, well I say slowly, it's over the course of about a second, we build back up on the throttle. So as you see, we're now cutting again here, just to try and minimize the distance that we're traveling. And now we get back on the throttle in 4th gear, holding it over to the right-hand side. You're wanting to point right at the middle of the yellow and green lines up ahead. And holding it over to the right-hand side. And that's it. Now we're going to see it from the chase cam. And then a final time with the driving line on for those of you so inclined. Full speed run through once again. Halfway between the one and the right. Trailing it off, late apex, back on the gas. Getting over to the right hand side here for turn 2. Looking for the dark patch. Once we get in the dark patch, big lift, build back up, cut the corner, exit wide, don't go in the sand. Looking for the lighter patch, and again, short trail brake here. We're just hanging on for dear life, keeping the throttle on. Changing up in the dip. Looking for this elbow in the white line up ahead. That's going to be our braking marker. Back on the gas nice and early. Trying to shorten the track up the hill here. Your car's going to be whining, but don't change up just yet. On the flat bit, do so. cut this corner, enter nice and wide from the rumble strip, trail it off, down into third. The key to this track is very much using all of the track. And over and across the line. Right, one final time with the driving line on from the cockpit. Thanks for watching. I've been Sambo iRacing, and I'll see you guys in the week. Cheers.